kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
All right, what's up, everybody? Here we are at the Thursday thick of it. This is GreenBean, and I could not be more delighted to have this special time with all of you. It's going to be a fun night, man. We got OTAs going on. We have all sorts of fabricated drama from the national media trying to get us crazy. The problem is, it works. It works instantaneously, but we're okay. We're all going to be all right. And it's a fun thing to watch, man. The Jets are the talk of the NFL right now. All sorts of primetime games, all sorts of national reports and opinions and clickbait articles. They're everywhere, and we're going to deconstruct all of it. Aaron Rodgers is out there talking. I can't wait to dig in with you guys about all this stuff. See what's real. Get a real finger on the pulse of the real Jets fans. That's you. And I'm excited to do it. Guys, before we get started, I will remind you that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it is such a nice thing to do. It really, really is. If you want to comment in the chat, please do. We try to highlight as many comments as we can. We want to hear your opinions. Super chats will, as Jake says, cut the line, but we'll try to get to as many of your opinions as we can. I also want to talk about the sponsor for the show. That is the one and only Manscaped. Guys, you can't do anything anymore without Manscaped. Come on. You're going to walk around without a Manscaped package in today's day and age? Is that really still happening? Manscaped is the premier, the leader in men's below-the-waist men's grooming. But not only that, they now take care of the face with the Beard Hedger trimmer, the most wonderful trimmer I've ever used, quite frankly. It takes away the need for hundreds of attachments that just never seem to fit back in the bag like they came. They're everywhere. No longer with the Beard Hedger trimmer. Guys, you can save 20% on all of their amazing products, whether it's the Lawnmower 4.0, the Beard Hedger trimmer, or the Weed Whacker, or the cologne that you see right here. There it is. Yay. You can save 20% on all of it by using the promo code GreenBean, and they will also throw in free international shipping. How's that sound? What's a better deal than that? So thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring the show. The link to their website and the reminder of what the promo code is, GreenBean, is right in the description of this very video. With that all said, let us get this show going. It wouldn't be a show without our esteemed co-host, and that is the one and only Gunny Gumby. What's cooking there, Gunny? How you doing? You're on mute. I love when I start on mute. It's the best.
That's embarrassing. Nah, I was just saying, yeah, excited to be here as always. Love the intro as always. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me. I'm pumped to talk Jets football.
It's the best. I mean, look, we have found a way to talk Jets pretty much 365 days a year, Gunny. You know, it's not a bad deal. We got real stuff going on. You got OTAs. What do you think so far with OTAs?
I know a lot of people right now are going to talk. I saw somebody put peg leg Rodgers in the comments. So obviously we got a couple of trolls in the audience. Thank you for watching. We appreciate y'all too. But yeah, I think the OTAs right now are showing us the kind of Aaron Rodgers we were all kind of hoping to get, right? Yes, he got a little bit of a minor setback during warm-ups on OTA day one, but he was still out there assisting, directing, kind of like going through the process with the team, and that's telling. This isn't Aaron Rodgers that hasn't done this in quite some time. In fact, when we all were talking about trading him for him, we were under the impression we'd be lucky and happy if he just makes it to training camp. Here right. He is in voluntary workouts. Now he's at freaking organized training activities, team activities. Like it's actually awesome. It's actually awesome. Even if he's not right now throwing the ball, we're seeing his impact already with everybody pretty much showing up to OTAs, you know what I'm saying, with a level of focus, dedication, and excitement that I don't think we can honestly say we've seen at One Jets Drive in quite some time.
Yeah, you know what? Remember when we were told by all the Packers fans, they said Aaron Rodgers is so selfish. He's never going to show up to OTAs. You'll see. He's this, he's that. And he's been around the facility since he got here. Now, I've been delighted, and I think, you know, his attitude has been one of mentor, has been one of teacher, setting the tone, working with Nathaniel Hackett to install the offense alongside of other guys, namely Alan Lazard. He's been seen pulling guys aside after every rep, kind of, you know, going through the motions, pointing to the spots they're supposed to be. And that's one of the things that I think the Jets have been missing, this idea that, you know, the quarterback can confidently throw the ball before you're open. It's called throwing you open, right? So, you know, you're supposed to make it to this spot on the field. That's the route. That's what we worked on. If you're only open for a split second, the quarterback knows that's the second the ball has to be there. He can throw it before you're open. And that takes discipline. You can't be running around dragging your ass because maybe it's not the play. You're not the number one read. You never know what's happening. We saw that last year with numerous receivers, particularly Elijah Moore started to get known for that a little bit. Just kind of, I'm not the read, so I'm just going to mosey on along. So Alan Lazard is out there pointing to guys like, dude, you were 5 feet away. You need to be there. That kind of stuff. That's what Aaron Rodgers is going to demand. And that's the impact that he has. It's not just this great player that can do so many things physically on the field. It's what he requires, what he demands from the players. And guys like Cobb and Lazard, even though Cobb's not there yet, but those types of players, Billy Turner on the offensive line, they're going to go to great lengths to letting the team know, buddy, if you want to play on this team with this particular guy, you need to, that 85%, that ain't going to cut it.
That ain't going to cut it. Nope.
You need to do exactly what is expected. I think that's going to pay dividends. What do you think? Do you agree with me?
100%. 100%. You're talking about an individual who's arguably one of the top 5 quarterbacks that ever play the game. We know he's in the conversation of top 3, you know what I'm saying, of all time in terms of individual quarterback play. And he's not only here, he wants to be a Jet. He understands and believes in the level of talent that we have on this roster. But this man is a football mind, high football IQ. He understands this game. You know what I'm saying? He showed it from the very moment he stepped onto the field in Lambeau Field 17 years ago. And to have him here as a proven Grizzly veteran, that's not only a player who still has plenty of left in the tank, but another coach on the field. I mean, we have a very young roster. It only makes us better. It only makes guys like Garrett Wilson better. It makes Breece Hall better. It makes freaking Ruckert better. It makes Conklin better. Everybody gets better by having him on the field. You just got to elevate them a little bit, which means to get better, you're going to have to put in some more work. You know what I'm saying? Some more disciplined work. And I think that's the kind of mindset he brings. And you're seeing these guys elevate to it. Like, I've been watching OTAs nonstop for the last freaking couple of days, and they're elevating to it. They understand what's expected of them. I saw somebody put it in the audience or in the chat already. Freaking CJ Uzama talking about how, you know, the defense got the best of them the day before, and before they got out there for the offense in the following OTA practice. Yo, Aaron Rodgers said, yo, get your shit together. Like, what happened yesterday can't happen again. And that's the concept we're talking about. Somebody who's going to hold everybody accountable, not necessarily talking down to his guys, but understanding they're capable of more and putting it out there in a way to where it's receptive, and they had a better day the following day. So I love it, man. It's just awesome to go ahead and be able to sit here and watch OTAs. And all I'm thinking about is September can't get here fast enough. Everything September cannot get here fast enough. And for me, I think a lot of it has to do with the people who continue to troll and talk crap about the Jets. And it's funny now. At first I was getting upset about it, but then I realized like the rivals talk about us a lot more than they have in times past. And when you start running your mouth and making up stuff and trying to find ways to go ahead and belittle the steps that just have taken, I see it as one way and one way only. People are scared. Like fan bases are scared. Other teams are scared. And that's good. They should be. And I think the more they talk about it, the more they try to go ahead and tell themselves that Aaron Rodgers is washed, that the Jets are still the same old Jets, that they don't want to see the steps taken over the last couple of years to become a team that is worth freaking discussing as a contender. I love it. It makes me it brings me joy on a regular basis, actually.
Yeah, I love it. I'm telling you, I derive a lot of joy out of rivals' pain, and it's okay. Like we've talked about, I come from an era, and we're similar in this regard. I think, Gunny, you come from an era when it was okay to bust your rivals' team fans' balls.
Yes,
like that
100%.
Was part of being a fan. Like I'll go online sometimes now, and I say something like, whatever, blah blah blah. And then somebody will come back and go, well, actually, man, you shouldn't really. I'm like, dude, get out of here. Like this, that's what this is. That's what this is. And the sad part about it is we have been on a particular end of this thing for far too long, man. I mean, decades, dude. The last time the Jets were really good. I mean, we had 2015. That was fun. Mm-hmm. But the last time we were good was 2010. Yep. That is 13 years ago, Gunny. 13 years. I did not have a white beard. That's the truth. Like, for some perspective, I didn't have this thing. I was just a normal guy walking around, little beard, but it's like, that's how long it's been. So since that, the entirety of my white beardhood, I have been a kicking post. I've been able to be kicked. Punching bag. There it is.
We've been punching bags as Jets fans, and it's been nonstop for a decade plus.
Yeah.
And those hits are going to stop coming.
That's right. And they better. So, one of the things, I think one of the reasons that Jets fans, got so upset this week, and we'll start with this, Aaron Rodgers, there was a couple reports yesterday, not today. It was day 2 or maybe it was day 3, forget, of OTAs. No, it was Tuesday, right? So Tuesday, what is her name? Danielle Rossini.
Yeah, Rossini.
Yeah, so she puts a picture up there and she writes a tweet. Aaron Rodgers favoring his one ankle, and something's clearly not right. And that was it. We don't even. It's like within seconds, we hear that Aaron Rodgers might be injured in any capacity. And everybody jumps on it, and because it's the biggest news in the world. Because look, let's be real here. The Jets don't have the best luck, right? We don't have the best look. Look at the last one. In this situation, we got the great Brett Favre. He comes over. He's fine for now, at this time of year. But we're doing great. We're 8-3. He tears his bicep, and he's another warrior, another Iron Man. He was rarely injured, if ever. And he comes to the Jets and he tears his bicep, and the season goes down the toilet. We fire Eric Mangini. We cut Brett, or we let him retire. He goes to the Vikings, the whole thing. So here we are, and it's day 2 of the Aaron Rodgers era, really. And he's potentially injured. So you can understand Jets fans, because we've been on this end for so long, panicking, like, oh my God, here it's Gunny, it's happening again. I can't believe it. Because even last year with Dwayne Brown, we get, Mekhi Becton goes down for the 2nd year in a row. Holy shit, he's going to be out for the season. Our luck. We signed Dwayne Brown. Okay, well, he's old, but at least the guy's going to be healthy.
He's healthy.
4 days, 4 days, and he's injured. So this is not something that's beyond the realm of possibility for us. It's not. Yeah. We're just not that franchise. So you can understand Jets. I'll admit, I saw it and just went, like, come on, man. Now it's early.
Maybe if I told you my response was very similar to that, I'd be lying to you. I didn't have a common collective thought process. Like, in fact, for me, it was tweeted to me by a Dolphins fan of mine / friend of mine. He was just like, oh, man, Aaron Rodgers injured already. And I was at work, so I hadn't seen anything about it because I was going to watch OTAs after work. And I immediately stopped everything I was doing, started jumping on YouTube, trying to figure out what's going on. I jumped on my YouTube TV to see OTAs live on NFL Network. And all it shows you was him just kind of like, standing by the trainers and walking around. I just tweeted back without any kind of like, I didn't want to go ahead and make a bit out of it with just me like sweating a little bit. But I definitely, because we can't have nice things. Let's be honest, that we're not used to having nice things. And it would be a Jet type of luck for that to have actually been an injury for us to worry about.
Yeah. So you can get it. I mean, look, like Gitmo Bob. What's up, Bob? Our good friend Gitmo Bob hanging out. He says, I think a lot of Jets fans went on suicide watch. It's true. Now, right after that, we heard about Alan Lazard. He was writhing around in pain. Pain. Holy shit, we lost Aaron. I mean, there were full articles and reports on those articles. Like, you know how it goes. Somebody says a tweet, and then there's 100 articles saying, they're reported by this person, and then everybody grabs those articles, and there's 1,000 reports now, and it's just somebody saying something real quick. Alan Lazard comically tweeted and said, guys, I got hit in the gonads. Like, can I have us think about this? And we talked about this the other night. But Gunny, you know how when you get, look, we're sponsored by Manscaped, so we can talk about this here. This is this kind of a show. But when a man gets kicked in his junk, generally speaking, you get the first initial impact. You're like, oh no. But then it takes
that
15
aftershock.
It takes 15 to 30 seconds to really kick in. Why? I don't know what this system is we have, but then it comes, and then you have about another maybe up to a minute of real pain.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. So in that period, that initial shock, the 15, 20 seconds of before it happens, then the minute that it in that period,
and a half window.
that minute and a half, tweets, responses, articles about Alan Lazard out for the year. You know what I mean? Writhing in pain. That's how quickly it happens anymore. Yeah. And it just shows, like you said, you pointed out a few moments ago, which is, everybody's looking right now. And on one hand, it's super cool. But on the other hand, everybody, they don't want us coming out of the basement. They don't, because we're hard to deal with when we suck. I mean, we are a passionate, loud, boisterous, intense fan base. And when we're good, nobody wants to hear it. That's the truth of it. And we've been bad for so long. Dude, there are fans like our buddy Finnegan, who's in the chat right now. Finnegan's a young man. I mean, we sucked his whole, most of his life. So this guy, he's waiting, man. Like, there are Jets fans that have never seen a good team. Dude, we are pent up, man. When we come out, if we really are a good team and we're beating the likes of the Bills on Monday night, and we're competing with and or beating the Chiefs and the Eagles, and if we're doing that for real, I can't even predict what our response is going to be. It's going to be like nothing we've ever seen. It's going to be crazy, isn't it?
Look, all I know is this. I grew up a Jets fan. I loved the Darrelle Revis era because it gave me all the material I needed to talk shit. I've been pretty quiet over the last decade, right? We had, like you said, that 2015 season was awesome, but we still missed the playoffs, and we reverted back to, being inept the following season. The Jets beat Super Bowl contenders this year, which I do believe they are amongst the Super Bowl contenders. You beat the Bills week 1, which I do believe they should do it. You go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, the Eagles. The more and more I look at it, the Jets are actually built like the Chiefs, who are the perennial powerhouse right now in the NFL. If you really look at it, get after Patrick Mahomes, get him out of the game, and it's a wrap. We are built, defensively speaking, we are built specifically on defense to go after Patrick Mahomes and slow him down. And that's all you need to do, is slow him down. I'm not going to get ahead of it, but I'm with you. It's going to be loud, obnoxious, annoying. My daughter is 13 years old. She's never had the chance to animatedly pump her chest about being a Jets fan. So I know she'll be excited because in her entire life, she's never really seen a Jets fan worthy of talking, being able to go pump her chest about. I want that for her, and we're gonna get blocked by a lot of individuals on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case might be. It's just a matter of time. I can't hear you. Not sure what's going on.
No, I was blowing my nose, so I was being
Okay,
kind. Thank you. But I want it for the youngsters too. I really do. You know, but I really want it for the oldsters. I mean, we got some guys that have been waiting a long time, but for the youngster, we got to give them something. They've come in and they stuck around. Just a frustrating period of time. Like, what the hell am I even doing here? Why do I wear this hat? Why do I wear this jersey? But Gunny, we have a little surprise. We have a special guest that's going to hang out with us. I actually haven't talked to this guy in a couple weeks via I think 2 texts in like 3 or 4 weeks. So let's say hello to our good friend, and we'll talk about some Patriots cheating, and we'll talk about some suspension with our buddy, Mr. Dom C. What's up, Dom? How you doing?
Hey, guys.
What's up, Dom?
Long time, man. Long time. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm busy, and I got a lot of good things going, man. So things are good, man. It's good to see you, Gunny, and Bean. You know, it's been, like you said, besides a couple texts here or there, I feel like we're on 2 separate sides of the world, man.
Yeah, it does. It feels like years. I mean, it's a crazy thing the way this all goes because, you know, communication these days is so instant and so it's just so accessible that when you don't talk to somebody for a couple of weeks, it feels like, can I even text this person? Like, are we still friends? Right?
Yeah,
it's
man.
weird.
Yeah.
So I hope you're well. You look good, man. You still paying attention to some football or what's going on?
More so than ever, actually. I am. I got some good news. I got some good things in the hopper. I don't want to kind of speak before anything comes to fruition. So fingers crossed, man. There might be a lot more of me to be seen, which is good.
Amaze balls. I mean, there can never be too much Dom C, in my opinion. So that's
that's your opinion. I don't know if that's everyone's opinion, including my wife.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, GreenBean.
Yeah, your wife's like, no, really, go do it. Go ahead and do all the shows you want.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Well, congrats. You know, look, I'm feeling you don't want to lean out there just yet. You got some good news. We'll keep it under wraps till it's all moving. But congrats nonetheless. I hope it's
I'll tell you guys privately. I don't want to announce. Yeah, I'll tell you guys privately. I don't want to announce anything because I don't want to jinx it, though.
Yeah. I believe in jinx, dude. I believe in it. I believe in jinx like I believe in gravity, dude. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes.
Yeah, man.
So good for you. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. So let's talk about this. And I just saw this earlier this morning, but Brandon Echols was suspended for 1 game. I think I don't know if we heard exactly what it is yet or what he did. Did he? I don't know. So Dom, I'll start with you. What do you think about this? Is this anything to be concerned about? Does this mean, you know, Brandon Echols is kind of in some hot water? Are we looking at the beginning of the end, or what do you see here?
So I was on Twitter talking about this a little bit. From what I understand, and obviously they were very vague about, you know, the reasons behind it, but from what I understand, it stems from a breach of the player's code of conduct from a reckless driving incident from last year, which is why it's only 1 game. And I was just tying into that as well. Like, now, to me, the waiver claiming of Javelin Guidry makes a whole lot more sense, right? You have that backup slot cornerback in there in case Bernard Converse is not ready to kind of handle that role. And we know that Bryce Hall isn't really fit to play the inside corner slot. So you have a little bit more depth there with Javelin Guidry, and then Brandon Echols comes back and hopefully it's behind him. So,
yeah. What do you think about this one, Gunny?
Yeah, now when it first came out, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was the first one to think to myself, damn, man, somebody got with the whole betting thing, because that was really big. A lot of individuals the investigation was still ongoing, apparently, after they got the Lion squad for exactly that. So for me, whenever I saw it was 1 game, I realized it had to be something minor. And yeah, I got the same stuff. It's some kind of reckless driving incident that occurred last year. Yeah, young kid made a mistake. Obviously, it's bound to happen when these young men are growing. They're making money. They're enjoying life. They're in great places financially. No excuses. They got to mature, especially when you're on a team right now that's set to win now. The loss of Brandon Echols hurts because he is obviously one of our better cornerbacks. But he'll be back. It's only one game. And yeah, I appreciate them taking the stand to go ahead and make sure they kind of hold it down in terms of discipline, making sure they understand, like, hey, there's consequences to negative actions. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, as they say in the Marine Corps, pain retains. Sometimes you got to go ahead and make a mistake and be punished for it to go ahead and register. So reckless driving incident, hopefully he learns from it, you know what I'm saying, and then we move forward.
The pain remains? Is that how you said that?
Pain retains. So,
pain retains.
You retain the information or the consequence, you know what I'm saying, through painful action of such.
Yeah, well, you know, the way we say it in my world is pain is the greatest motivator.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, sometimes, you know, you see somebody messing up and they need a little bit more. They need a little more pain. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't that way. I tried to help you. But you want more pain, you're going to get it, and then we'll see where you stand. So looking at it here, I just opened another article. It says that he was accepted in a diversionary program back in March to avoid getting assault by auto charges in a high-speed crash in my old neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale. Oh, no. Florham Park, which is also my old. I used to go to the Florham Park roller rink on Friday nights. Stop.
Yeah. I just dropped my kids off there last weekend, and I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe this place is still here.
It's still there? It's the same place? Have they at least re-floored the rink or anything?
Nah, I mean, I don't even, like I said, I don't know. I didn't go that far inside. I literally just went and dumped out some money and said, okay, I'll see you in 2 hours. But
now, let me tell you, the Florham Park roller rink, I had two of my first kisses with girls that I really liked on the cup during or right after the couples skate, when they go only couples and they lower the lights and they put this disco ball on and they play, you know, Kenny G or something like that. And you do that. I used to love that shit, man. So good. So that's crazy that it's still there. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And they don't give roller skates anymore. You know that?
What?
Yeah.
You have to bring your own?
Well, you can bring your own, but it's rollerblades only. Which is, I thought, very odd. I thought very odd. Yeah,
that's it. That's the last straw. I don't like this change.
Rollerblades only, and if you can't rollerblade, they give you like a little walker, like the old people have that have wheels on the bottom of it, so you can just kind of scoot along on the walker. It's crazy.
I don't even understand. I got to go to a roller rink and see what the hell's going on. It's been a long time. Now, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, up until like maybe 13 or 14, I was amazing on roller skates. I mean, I could speed. I could, do that thing like leg over leg on the turns and all that kind of shit. I used to just go backwards, all kinds. Years ago now, I was probably 23, 22. We went back. Me and my friends thought it would be fun to go back to a roller rink, and we went and got our roller skates. Dude, I almost broke my back. Like, I mean, within a minute. I was like, oh. That was the worst thing I ever did in my life. I was like, that's it. I haven't been back to a roller rink since. I was terrified. It fucking landed on my back, my head. I was like, wow, like this is dangerous, man. I can only imagine being 50 and on rollerblades, no less. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, Brandon Echols in Florham Park supposedly got into an accident where someone was partially paralyzed. So it's
oh man,
on the serious side. Yeah. Well, but as far as the Jets go, not the worst thing, one game. And like you said, Javelin Guidry is back. Look, as much as I'm not the biggest Javelin Guidry fan, he kind of earned my respect a little bit in the Titans game that we won in 2021. He made some open field tackles on Derrick Henry, no less. Little tiny Javelin Guidry fearlessly went in and tackled Derrick Henry by himself and saved a touchdown on one particular play. That's something you got to honor that. You go, all right, buddy. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. But I was surprised that we cut him last year because we didn't have any real depth at nickel. We had one real nickel back. We had LaMarcus Joyner. He can play it. We had some guys that could play it, but nobody really behind Michael Carter II. I was surprised that he was cut, but the fact that he's back, it's like, all right, I think it makes sense. as well. And again, we have Bryce Hall on the roster, but I know clearly they, they prefer Eccles on the outside as a backup over Hall. I mean, it's very, very clear because, Hall was, while he was on the 53, he was inactive every week, where Brandon Eccles was the first cornerback off the bench. So, clearly they like Brandon Eccles. But one game, I'm sure we can weather it, even though it is the Bills.
So, and if you think about that, just 2 years ago, Hall was our number one cornerback, right? And we were all dead set, and he wasn't bad. He just has a penchant to not be able to find the ball and get turnovers. But he was our number one corner. He was the stalwart of the defensive backfield.
Yep.
And just a season and change later, he's just dwindled down the depth chart. That says a lot to the way that this team has been constructed, right?
Yeah.
Obviously we know about the high capital we spent in Sauce Gardner, who's a stud in the making, if he's not already made. DJ Reed has been everything as advertised, and Brandon Eccles has really proved himself to be competent. So
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing that they're doing, man. I for all the poo-pooing that some people have about Joe Douglas and some of his roster constructs, like I think he hit a home run on what he's doing with our cornerback room.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, and these are 5th and 6th round picks when we're talking about Brandon Eccles, Bryce Hall, Michael Carter II. Even Javelin Guidry's an undrafted free agent. Most of the room is mid to late round selections, and that says something, man. These are contributors. Michael Carter II is our starter. I mean, we couldn't find starters, real starters in the first round. You know what I mean? In the second round picks third round picks, flops, Lorenzo Malden, whoever, Ja'Kai Polite. These guys don't even, they're doing nothing for us. And we're finding these guys in the 5th and 6th round. And I think a lot of fans got to remember, look, you take your best shot, you find the best talent that you can. Some hit, some don't. You want to hit more than you miss. And Joe Douglas, in my opinion, has done just that. And we'll see about this draft class. So Jason Edwards checking in. What's up, Jason Edwards? Thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, happy Thursday to the dream team. Oh, that's very, very nice. Fans since 86, 12-5 floor championship this season. Wow. Well, 86.
86.
Dom, that's a good year to become a fan. We were good. I believe that was when we were 10-1. We were 10-1 in 86. We ended up finishing 10-6. You know how that shit goes for us. I didn't want to say that, but 10-1 to 10-6. That was the year that we benched Ken O'Brien for our longtime backup Pat Ryan. He came in. He beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card round, and then that was the double overtime loss in the semifinal rounds, the divisional round of the playoffs, where we had that game wrapped. Until one of my favorite, if not my favorite Jet of all time, Mark Asno, decided, I'm going to fucking crush Bernie Kosar after the win. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. 5 steps. The play was over, and he just rushed him, and that gave him the first down. They scored. Next thing you know, overtime. And but yeah, that was an interesting season. But good for you, Jason. Now, what do you think about this? Gunny, 12-5, Jason says. How you feeling about 12-5?
I think Jason's a freaking genius. My estimations for what this team can do, I think the floor is 10, and we're at 13 for the ceiling. So I think he's right in the cusp of what would probably actually happen. It's 12-5. I've been on the record saying I think the biggest opponent of the New York Jets this freaking season is gonna be health. That's going to be the biggest opponent. They got to go ahead and stay healthy. I think a healthy New York Jets roster, 12-5, is very feasible, very, very feasible. And even taking some beatings across the board in terms of the health component, we shouldn't win any less than 10 games. So that 12-5 number, I love it. I love it, Jason. I think it's a beautiful number. It's perfect. That should be enough to go ahead and win the AFC East, and go ahead and put us into the playoffs for the first time in too damn long. And we can start our run towards a Super Bowl appearance. So, yeah, 12-5 to me, I think is. I mean, he says it's his floor. My guy, I love you, but there are some guys out there like we got to play the Eagles, we got to play the Chiefs, The Bills are not slouches. Even the Dolphins. I mean, I've been on the record saying the Dolphins are not slouches either. I think if Tua healthy operating that offense going into year 2, we don't know what to expect yet with Tua at the helm. So I think 12-5 is great, but my ceiling is 13. My floor is 10 for the season.
Yeah.
Floor is 10. Now, what do you think about this, Dom? Yeah, so he says 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
Which game, if that's the now I'm in the same pocket. I think Gunny said a very, very important thing. I think the number one enemy or obstacle would be injuries, right? Health,
Yep.
But let's assume we're healthy predominantly, right? We keep the team on the field.
Knock on wood, will you guys please? Knock on
right,
wood.
everybody. Jets forever. Knock on wood, you bastard. He's like, no, wood's for losers. You're not a fan, Kareem. You're not fans if you knock on wood. But if we go 12-5, who we losing to, Dom? Which teams off the top of your head?
Oh, man, this is so hard. I think we split with Miami. I really think Miami's a good team. I hate that. I hate that I say it.
Yep.
But I think they're a really good team. I think we split with Buffalo, and I mean, the Eagles is going to be a tough game. So on the spot, I'll say the Eagles. I'll say Buffalo. I'll say Miami. I'll say the Chiefs. And for some reason, there's 2 games that I don't like. I don't like the Chargers games, and I don't like the Browns game.
It's interesting.
It's the Browns for me.
So one of those is probably going to be a loss. One of them might be a win. There's a couple others that can realistically go either way. Who knows what the new Denver Broncos are going to be? We've had some luck going into. We had some luck going in there last year and beating them. There weren't. They didn't have Sean Payton at the helm. Does Russell Wilson have a resurgence? That could be a tough game. Traveling to the Raiders could be a tough game. I don't know, man. It's not going to be so easy. Another team that I think, another game that I think could be very, very difficult, just because the way their team is constructed and how they match up. I'm concerned about the Washington Redskins. I really think that they're a team that's being slept on. I think they're going to have a really, really good season.
Well, if it's going to be the Washington Redskins, you're going to have to play them.
Or the Commanders. Whatever they are. They're the
Washington whatevers. The Washington whatevers.
Yeah, I hear you. What a dumb name, the Commanders. They could have done so much better.
Well, they didn't get the patent for it. They didn't get the copyright, so they're not going to be the Commanders for long.
They got to change it again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That came out, I think, yesterday. Down was it yesterday?
Oh, that's so good. Good for them. Now look. Jets fans, when you feel like you're in the doldrums and you're the worst, just think about that. You had to change your team name. You changed it, but you did it wrong, so you got to change it again.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, there are tiers to this shit. There are lower levels to travel to, and we've decided not to go down there. At least we kept our name. That's a good thing. So, yeah, man, I think, the Cleveland game is spooky, but we'll see. I mean, we don't know what anybody is, right? And we know that.
You're right.
I always like that, guys go, you can't predict anything. And so I know. But we're taking a look ahead. Now, interestingly enough, Tom, it looks like the Talking Jets panel, the game that we're going to do this year, because 2 out of 3 of us cannot make opening day this season. So we're looking at hopefully the Chargers Monday night coming up and doing our whole thing. And that, you said, is a spooky game for you, huh?
Yeah. I mean, because listen, I'm not a huge fan. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Ross Tucker put out, his top, in order, his 1 to 32, his coaches. He had Saleh somewhere, probably, in the mid 20s, probably a little lower. But the one that stuck out to me there was Brandon Staley. He had Brandon Staley at 19. To me, I think Brandon Staley shouldn't be above any non-rookie coach. So there's that. But on the same token, that offense is potent. And I love our defense, and I'll match up our defense again against anyone. But if there's any offense that scares me out of all the offenses that we play this year, it's the Chargers. I mean, they have a lot of weapons in that, and Justin Herbert's just he is legit. They remind me. I think that they could do have that quick turnaround and become elite, just like Cincinnati has done over the past couple years. I mean, I think we can see the same kind of rise as long as Brandon Staley, their head coach, can stay out of their way.
Well, I want to say hello to Alan. There's no comment there, but I'll use an earlier one that you threw up there. If I remember correctly, let me go up top and make sure. This is your first. Is this you? Is this your first ever? Yeah, here it is. Look, so thank you for the super chat, and I'll put this up there. This is the first time at a GreenBean live stream. So, yeah, welcome, Alan. All right. There you go. You're coming in and you're dropping a super chat, and that is appreciated. We're happy to have you here, man. You know, I hope you stick around. If you stick around long enough, you'll see that Jets Forever is very persistent, very consistent. He started the stream with "You all should support Zach." I mean, there's no reason to talk like that these days, but he still is. So, I think a lot of us are supporting Zach, but in a backup role.
Yeah. And real quick, Bean, to the chat who are lambasting me right now about my Chargers take. I think we can beat the Chargers, but I'm saying that I'm saying that I think they have a legitimate chance to have a very, very dominant offense. And like we have a dominant defense, and sometimes powers collide and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that I'm not scared of the Chargers, but they're a team that I think could surprise this year.
Dude, let's not forget. Look, they limped off of the 2022 season, right? They had some struggles at the end of the year, but Justin Herbert is a stud, man. Make no mistake, and they have weapons up and down the roster. I'm with you. I mean, you know what's funny? When we were talking about which game we wanted to come up for, I wanted so bad. I have not. Well, I saw a win in MetLife in 2015. I have not had a damn happy experience at MetLife since. I mean, before the game, hanging out, yay! And I know walking in there, this is going to be ugly. You know what I mean? Like I'm rooting, I'm hoping, but I've left MetLife unhappy every single time. So I was like leaning toward this idea of like, well, dude, let's pick a game that we're like really, we got a good shot of winning. But then it's like, number one, you never know who you're going to beat and who you're going to like. Look, last year we thought the front end was brutal, and then we'll beat the Lions and the Jags and the Seahawks, and we all know how that shit turned out. So you can't tell. But in addition to that, I have to admit, there's something a little bit sweeter about going in there and seeing a win over a team, and it's a good game, and they're, it's a competitive team. It's a, like even those wins that you go in and it's like, 31-10, and the whole second half is just kind of, that's nice. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's rare these days. I'll take it. But there's something, I remember the games, man, back in the day, like, fourth quarter, a minute left, and we scored the winning touchdown. I mean, there's something really good about that. I mean, those are the games you want to get to. And I think that we can compete, so this year, going to a game like the Chargers, I'm with them. I know some of you guys don't agree, but I think, look, the Chargers are potentially lethal. They made the playoffs last year. Didn't they limp in?
They did. They did, so, and limped out, I believe.
They did. Smacked around by I think it was the Jaguars.
Yeah,
they blew a 21-point lead, something like that, something ridiculous.
Yeah, the teams that just are instant offense still concern me, and that's because I guess my head doesn't work in the mindset yet. Like, I'm still stuck in what we've had the past couple of years where we struggle to score points. Like the fact that we have Aaron Rodgers and a whole new offensive system that can hang with these high level offenses that I guess that hasn't stuck in yet. So, getting into shootouts always concerns me because we're always on the bottom end of those. But, with Aaron Rodgers, anything's possible, man. I think that's the beauty.
What you're saying, Don, makes a lot of sense. Like for me, I look at the Chargers and I am looking at them in terms of how they limped around last season. But this is a team that had a top 10 offensive line last year. They stacked more offensive weapons in the draft. They also have a guy named Bosa on the defensive side that is a freaking maniac. So it legitimately, you're right. It is a team we should not take lightly. For me, I didn't have them in as a worry for me. Cleveland Browns are the ones that I was kind of saying, like, man, across the board, they're stacked everywhere. They kind of worried me a lot in terms of being that fifth loss. But man, the Chargers definitely aren't somebody we should be sleeping on, with a top 10 offensive line, a quarterback who's been a top 10 quarterback since he came into the league, wide receivers that can go ahead and beat you all over the field, a running back in Austin Eckler, who is now in a prove-it kind of season to go ahead and get a big-time contract. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of things to be concerned about, and to have a Bosa as one of on your defensive line is nothing to slouch at either, when we still have so many question marks at our offensive line. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So look, guys, I put a poll in there. I'm sure you all saw it by now. There was 4 names. 3 of them are names that were thrown out and or used previously for the Washington Commanders. See which one we think is the best. I was going to put something dirty in there, but I chose not to. So let's see, if they got to change their name. I thought they missed an opportunity with the Red Hogs. I thought that was a good one, going right from Redskins. You got the Hogs. They're famous, fans, and the group. What was it? The offensive linemen, I believe, and then the fans that the guys who wore the dresses with the pig noses and shit. Like, there's the whole thing. Like, there's a piece of their history, and they could have named the team the Red Hogs. I think that was a good one. So that would get my vote. Anyway, let us know. In the chat. We have a comment from Salty Nuts. What's up, man? Slam that like button, everybody. It's free. That's right. It's the freest thing you can do on this whole entire planet. As long as you own a left click, you're in. So all you got to do is hit that thumbs up button, and we all appreciate it. We call it the milk thumbs around here. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing the milk thumbs thing. I am working on a milk thumbs song, though, for you. I have it. I have something. I have something working. You'll see. This season's going to be fun, man. I have all kinds of new graphics and new stuff that we're working on back here. But anyway, thank you, Salty Nuts. Magoo, from the bottom of my heart, for your super chat. So let's talk about this, everybody. Gunny, you got the POS Supreme getting 2 OTA days taken from the Patriots. They are caught cheating, and in some capacity, they were caught doing something illegal again. And this, they get a $50,000 fine, excuse me, and 2 OTA days removed. That is what is affectionately known as a slap on the wrist. Now, I don't know, I don't know at what point the NFL is going to look at this guy and say, this is a stain.
Repeat offender.
Repeat offender. Do you think there will ever be a day where the NFL says enough is enough with this guy? You is suspended for the year, like something to taint his friggin' legacy. He's going down as like this great coach. He's like got a losing record without Tom Brady. He's never done a damn thing without one particular quarterback. And he's been caught cheating now. This is the 5th time he's been caught cheating, yet he never suffers anything of any real gravity. What do you think, Gunny? I mean, number one, what's your opinion of the whole situation? But will there ever be a day when the NFL draws the line with Bill Belichick?
Well, first and foremost, this isn't surprising. I laughed when I saw this flash across my news line earlier today in regards to them missing out on these 2 freaking days. This isn't surprising because we've seen this before, right? We've seen the Patriots, Bill Belichick and his staff habitually do things to try to get an edge that are on the other side of a gray line. There's the gray area. There's the line. He's always on the other side of the line, right? And somehow, some way, he seems to continue, just gets away with it. He reminds me of specific leaders I've worked with in the military, right? That have had a track record of success and mission accomplishment. And then they've crossed the line here. Then they would go ahead and be put on administrative leave. Then they would come back. Then they would cross another line, administrative leave, and then they would come back. And eventually what happens is the realization hits the higher command that, like, yo, this dude thinks he's untouchable. which is why he keeps doing this stuff. And then they force them to retire, right? I mean, granted, they should go to jail, but they don't go to jail because they've had such a great track record. They forced them to retire. I think that's what's going to happen with Bill. I don't think you're ever going to go ahead and see them suspend him for a year. I don't think you're going to go ahead and see him go ahead and get publicly humiliated for being a scumbag that freaking finds ways to cheat. Supposedly an incredible freaking football mind, yet he can't get ahead without either Tom Brady freaking, taking control, or he finds a way to cheat. But nonetheless, I think what's going to come down to is good old Belichick is probably going to be forced to retire. And I think that's going to be the case after the season anyway, after he gets waxed by the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. The Patriots are the team in the AFC East that people keep saying, oh, it's a tough division. They are not tough by any means. The Jets lost to them twice last year because of abysmal quarterback play in the NFL. We all know it. They freaking know it. They know how lucky they were to play against us. Bullshit calls being given their way on freaking roughing the passer on freaking pick sixes. Like, we've all seen it. The world knows it. I don't think he's ever going to go ahead and be really held accountable. It's going to be one of those things where he just has to go retire, right? Hey, you know what? After this particular season, he's going to retire. Unfortunately for us, I think Robert Kraft is too close with Roger Goodell. They're kind of tight, so I don't see them ever kind of like holding those guys' feet to the fire. And it's going to come down to the point where we need to just go ahead and make sure they're in fourth place this season, so we can go ahead and wish him on his way into retirement. I think that's going to be the best we can hope for in terms of Belichick.
Yeah, well, if they do, I hope it's like you said, on the tail end of just getting smacked around by the entire division. Like Anthony G said, if a player got caught smoking weed a couple of times, they'd be banned. Look at poor Josh Gordon, right? Josh Gordon, the guy, clearly he's got a problem, and this punitive approach to him, and look, he's a multiple offender, so it is what it is. But you can see the difference. You know what I mean? Like there's clearly a divide between the way they're handling Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and the way that they handle other players around the league. What do you think? I mean, Gunny put up some nice points there. Do you see it the same way? Do you think maybe there's hope for an 8-game suspension or anything like that for Bill Belichick?
No, I see. Unfortunately, I see none of that. And when I heard that, or saw on Twitter or wherever I saw it, that they had been fined, I kind of looked into it. So, I'm reading this right from ESPN, guys. You can see the same thing that I'm reading here, and it says, blah, blah, blah. I just lost the spot. The NFL Players Association filed a formal complaint against the Patriots May 4th, alleging violation of Article 21, Section 5B of the collective bargaining agreement, that players cannot be at the team facility more than 4 hours per day during the second phase of the voluntary program. So it also states that the Cowboys in 21-22, the Bears in 22, the Commanders in 22, the Texans in 22, the 49ers in 21 and 22, the Jaguars in 21, and the Ravens in 2018 all suffered the same penalty. So I guess it's a breach of, the Players Association's, whatever collective bargaining agreement, but it's probably so minor that nothing's ever going to come about this. They're going to say, you know what? You had players in there for a total of 8 hours too much over the second phase. So now we're going to take 8 hours of practice time, organized practice time from you. I don't know if this is something, that Bill perpetrated, to get an advantage, or if maybe it was just an oversight that no one really paid attention to, and somebody didn't like it, and they called their player rep, and so on and so forth. As far as I'm concerned, Belichick can stay on. Great coaching mind, yes, but as long as he has all say of what happens in New England right now, like their drafts for the past few have been absolutely abysmal. Like, let him stay. Let him keep making these bad draft picks. Bring it on, man.
Yeah. Well, and look, I think that you're right. As far as this particular infraction, it's not to make a mountain out of a molehill, but like Gitmo Bob is saying, excuse me, man, allergies are crushing me these days. I'm going to sneeze any minute. I'm going to keep going, and if it comes, it comes. All right, there you go. I can't do anything about it. I can't hold the show hostage with a potential sneeze. So, like Gitmo Bob is saying here, at the second part of his comment is if Belichick has been caught, or I'm sorry, if Belichick has been caught 5 times, then he's probably gotten away with it 500 times. It's the same thing. Like I've used the analogy of my drug addiction. Like I would hang out with people, and they would, we'd get caught the one time I didn't do anything. The cop grabs me and throws me in the car. I don't even have anything. This is bullshit. And one cop, it was in Newark, man. One cop literally stopped the car, right? I didn't have anything on me. He got to me before I did anything. He literally stopped the car, turned around in the front seat, and said, "Are you trying to tell me that you've never done anything worth getting arrested for that you've gotten away with?" He said, "This is just your karma, buddy. That's what, if you really don't have anything and we're going to search we're going to search your underwears." That's what he said. "We're going to search your underwears." And he said, "But even if," he goes, "this is just your karma. What are you doing in the projects? What are you doing there? You hanging out? You got your grandma lived there? What are you doing?" So anyway, it's the same kind of thing. Like, you get caught a couple times. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It's very rare that the one time that I did it, and then that was only the 4 times I cheated ever. You know what I mean? It's just not true. Like, let's not forget when we hired Mangini, there was a conversation or something. Bill Belichick knew that Mangini was aware of the spying that he was doing to teams. He almost dared Mangini to say something. Mangini did say something. The whole thing blew up into Spygate. The NFL burned the tapes and all the kinds of stuff that they did. But that's why Mangini and Belichick, he would, during the handshake, he would just kind of tap his hand and walk away. But that was, Mangini was blowing up what Belichick had been doing for the whole time he was there. So he's been cheating that whole time. Yeah. Mangini just told the NFL, told the league what was actually, he said, "If you dare to do it to, I know, and I'm not saying anything, you do it to my team." And Belichick said, "You know what I do, and if I dare you to," and that's what happened, So Mangini blew it up. That was already after probably dozens, if not more, times of cheating. So, look, I think that Gunny's got a great point. In the event the NFL does do something, if they had enough, it's like what Gitmo Bob is saying here. Kraft somehow got into an extremely high position of power in the NFL, right? We know that. He's very close to Goodell and all that stuff. But if Belichick is like Dom is saying, he's showing without Tom Brady, even though he is, you got to give credit where it's due. He is a defensive mastermind. He is. In all the years with Parcells, you can also back it up a second and say Bill Parcells has never won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick either. So let's there's a lot of like entanglements here, right? Bill Parcells, one of the greatest coaches of all time, has not a ring without Bill Belichick. So there's that. So you can't take that away from him. At the same time, he has no rings on his own without Tom Brady. So there's those kinds of things. But if Kraft is seeing that Bill Belichick is kind of toast, rather than, stick with him or whatever, they use this as like, "Hey, Bill, it's time to retire." And they force him out. And that whole thing, I can see that, like the NFL and Bob Kraft, like almost stops protecting Bill Belichick, so to speak, and says, "Look, this is it." And I can see it happen in that way. But I don't think we're ever going to see him suspended or anything either, unless he runs out on the field with a hatchet or something. He's all mad, like, something like that. Then, all right, he crossed the line. He crossed the line.
And even then, they'll probably be like, he just had a nervous breakdown.
He had a tough night.
Fine now. He's good. Yeah, like
his wife is sick. His wife is sick.
Something.
Yeah. Everybody has a hatchet. Come on. So anyway, I think it's this particular infraction is not the biggest deal, but again, it's compiled. It's the sum of the infractions that really draws the ire. And then you look at the other side of it. Tom Brady last year, down in Miami. You got, they're taking draft picks from the Dolphins. They're suspending their owner, and then Tom Brady, they tell him, oh, when you're playing the Dolphins in preseason, they say, take 10 days off. Go ahead, get out of here. You don't want to have to answer questions, and he just disappears. Yeah. No problem, and they just pretend it never happened. It's a crazy thing, the NFL, and you can see it, man. It's kind of baloney, but all we need to happen is that the NFL finally stops coming down on the Jets. We got to stop being the only team in the NFL that can't draw a damn roughing the passer penalty when our quarterbacks are literally getting manhandled. Poor Zach Wilson, dude, his rookie year, look, we know the second year when they dove at his knee, nothing, the ref was right there. They dove at his knee. Nothing. He was, and he ended up getting injured. The year before, there was a play where the defensive lineman jumped up, picked him up, and like squashed him out, like in the air, landed on him. That's a penalty every which way but loose. Not against Zach. So there's maybe if the NFL can just turn around and start calling our games fairly, I think I'll be happy enough. I want to say hello to Y2K, who just popped in. He's been in the chat. New York Sports Wicker Media is here with us. He'll be coming on with some well-designed trivia, I imagine, something to do with OTAs or something like that. Who's the player that was the greatest OTA hero in Jets history, but never, ever played an NFL snap? Something like that. You'll see. Y2K is in the building. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. We are here with Gunny and Dom C. It's a Thursday thick of it, and we're talking New York Jets football. Eddie thinks it'll be Belichick's last year in New England. Saucy Susan, we already talked about Brandon Echols a little bit. Just to recap, it's a one-game suspension. He has entered a program to kind of, I guess it's like a driver's ed kind of a thing, I would imagine, something like that.
Driver's ed.
Driver's ed in a nutshell. In a nutshell, it is.
In Florida, like, look, I came from New Jersey, right? And when I landed in Florida, and I kind of was becoming Floridian. One of the things that I learned down there is anytime you get a traffic ticket, they have these things called traffic schools everywhere. They're on every corner. Traffic school, ticket clinic. Whenever you get a speeding ticket, like in New Jersey, what you generally do is you pay the ticket, right? Or you can go to court and plead to like if you have a 22 miles an hour over the speed limit, you go to court and they'll get it down.
All of a sudden it's down to 14. All right, you showed up, you paid the court costs.
You showed up. All right, you took some time out of your day. 14 it is. They take $100 off your fine and 2 points off your insurance and the whole thing, and you do that. In Florida, what you do is you go to Ticket Clinic and you pay them. And they go and they get your ticket washed away or lowered or whatever. But if you do it too much, you got to go to traffic school. You got to sit there in a class and go, you got to do driver's ed, man. So that's what Brandon Echols is doing. He's in driver's ed right now watching a video.
In Texas, it's just straight to driver's school. Like if you can decide to go to court and then you're going to lose. You go to court, you're going to lose. I've never seen somebody go to court and they won. Or you pay to go to the traffic school, and then the ticket disappears. You don't get that ticket in 6 freaking months, then it never happened, right? So your insurance doesn't go up, all that good stuff. It's kind of cool being a veteran, though, because a lot of times we just get away with it.
Yeah,
I will admit that is a perk in Texas.
It's a perk.
But every now and again, you get the one person, and then you got to go to traffic school. So
that's it.
True story here, and I don't want to disrupt the flow of the show, but talking about being a veteran. So back in the day, in my heyday, I may have or may not have been pulled over on the median of Route 80, which is like a big interstate that goes from Jersey straight through to California.
To San Francisco, right on.
Yeah. I may or may not have been a little tipsy, passed out, sleeping behind the wheel with a buddy of mine in the car. Both of us knocked out.
Both of you sleeping. You couldn't get one of you to go, hey!
Knock, 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 knock. State trooper on the door.
Gosh.
Oh, yeah. My buddy flashed. My buddy who's an ex-Air Force flashes his, military whatever ID that he has. The cop was an Air Force guy too.
Lucky.
Yep, we had a state trooper, in front of us and behind us that followed us all the way home. So that is a perk, man. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky,
Yeah.
Gunny.
You got lucky, man. That was the Air Force.
yeah.
If that was a Marine, he'd be like Air Force, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we
Air
would
Force.
have had
Get
other
outta
questions like, well, you couldn't get into the military, so you went to the Air Force.
here. Yeah, right. What are you doing in there? You think I'm going to give you credit for Air Force? Get out of here. If you were Army, maybe.
And I don't condone driving inebriated, people.
No, it was a different time. We didn't know any
different.
better. We didn't
Yeah,
know.
this is
We
before-
didn't know.
Yeah, this is
We
true.
thought it was
This is
okay.
before- now we know better. Now we all know better.
Now we all know better. Gunny drinks right there in the Gunny Studios. That's where he drinks. But I mean, I had a lot of cop friends, man, and I've many times. I mean, dude, I literally got caught in Spanish Harlem with a 1/4 pound of weed and flashed a cop thing, and they took my weed and let me go.
No.
You know what I mean? They were just like, "All right, get out of here." He said, who is this? I said, "It's my uncle." He goes, "It wasn't. It was just some friend." He goes, "It's my uncle." And he goes, "How would he feel if I called him right now?" I said, "Oh, he'd be so mad." He said, "Give me that weed." I said, "All right, sir. Here you go. Here's my dirt. Here's my bag of fucking swag."
Hey,
Harlem swag. Yeah, but anyway, I remember flashing my cards. I haven't been. I'm gonna say something. Knock on wood. I haven't gotten a ticket, and it's got to be coming around the mountain to. I mean, it's probably like 17 years, 16, 17 years. Not even a ticket.
Damn.
I'm gonna get pulled over tomorrow. You'll see.
Yeah,
I'll tell you guys all about it.
You just
I
messed
know.
up.
Well, when you drive the speed limit like an old lady, you know, it's hard. It's hard to get pulled over. But anyway, so look, we have something else to talk about. Kay Yeti's bringing up Punt God. What'd they call him? The Punt King or the Punt God? What'd they call
It is
Punt
God.
God.
Yeah, it's the punt God.
So the Jets brought in punter Matt Araiza. Now, interesting on Twitter, there was an instant backlash. Get this scumbag, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Now, it's interesting because this is not to get into the dark side of it, but this is a guy that was accused of something, lost his career, was cut, and then I think it's been 2 years now, right?
Yep.
He's been kicking in Mexico.
What's that?
He's been kicking in Mexico.
So he's been pushed all the way to Mexico.
Doing something. I mean, I don't know if there's actual American football in Mexico.
He's
but
kicking bags of soybeans.
Kicking something down there. Yeah.
But so it comes out, they do an investigation and it comes out again. I'm not one way or the other, but they say he wasn't even there. So he was cleared of all the charges and he's trying to come back to the NFL. Now, this is a guy who's arguably, in recent memory, one of the best punters in college football.
Oh, yeah.
And the Jets bring him in. I'm of the school of thought that, hey, sign the guy, have the competition with Morstead, see what's going on. There's nothing wrong with having 2 punters in camp and seeing what's going on here. But a lot of Jets fans, now I don't know if they really believe this or if they're still stuck on the previous headline. I don't know. But what do you think? Gunny, I'll bounce it to you first. Matt Araiza's, he was seen now a couple days ago, so who knows what'll go on. But how would you feel if the Jets sign him for camp? Are you in favor? Are you against it? Where do you stand with this one?
So whenever I saw them bring him in, I was definitely vocal about his ability. This kid's literally an elite kicker, right? Like that whole once in a generation thing. Like this is a once in a generation punter. Like it's just I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he's that accurate. I can't comprehend. But the dude is legit. And I felt that, his name being cleared by the district attorney in regards to that case, talking about how this chick is lying. There's no way it was possible or feasible that he was a part of that process. And again, like you said, when we get to the details. So I'll be the first to admit, I was like, okay, well, he was cleared. Right. And this happens all the time. You see a lot of individuals getting released from jail now that were locked up for years because somebody said something in college and they ruined their career. So for me, I'm like, man, at least he has a chance early on in his career to kind of get it back on track. I am a big fan of his talent. I am. I truly am. But after I put that out there, I got more feedback from other Jets fans who were like, no. Yeah, granted, he might have not done this, but he still took advantage of a 17-year-old who was under the influence of alcohol. I don't know for a fact if that's the case. I only followed the part of the whole process of where he was accused of doing what he was accused of doing. But if that is the case, there's some character concerns there, some character issues there, right? Like if this young lady was actually 17, and even if it was consensual by her metrics, she was still 17, and she was also intoxicated. A grown man should be able to think like, okay, this is a bad idea. So character issues being what they are, man, I love the character we have and the culture we've built at One Jets. Right? I love the top-notch individuals that Joe Douglas and Coach Salah have prided themselves upon. I love that, to be able to speak proudly about. I have 3 daughters, so to speak proudly about that goes a long way for me. And again, after the DA said, nope, it didn't happen, I was on board. I will walk it back now, because if in fact he did do something with that young lady when she was drunk and 17, even if it was consensual on her part at 17 years old, she was still drunk. That to me is very questionable. That is a character concern. So for me, I'm good, man. I think Morstead can do the job. I think we brought him in to go ahead and be that guy for us. We guaranteed his money. If he gets another opportunity and his name gets cleared, good for the kid. But for me, just the noise of him potentially being somebody who is a what's the term for that? That's not a rapist. Well, I guess he is technically. Oh, it's 17. I don't know if 17 is legal or not anymore. I don't know. Statutory. That's the word. So if it's statutory, like, look, let's keep that away from the Jets. I love the character and the culture that we've built. These are quality guys. Brandon Echols right now, me hearing that, I'm upset with him. I'm like, man, I didn't know somebody got partially paralyzed from that. Like, that's upsetting. So for me, I don't think it's worth for us to go ahead and damage the culture we built and the quality of individuals we brought into the culture of the New York Jets. So I'm going to pass on him now. And in hindsight, I apologize that I supported bringing him in for a tryout. But if it is the case that he is statutorily raped this young lady, it's not even worth the trouble. It's just not. And I'm going to pass on that guy.
There you go. Dom, how do you see this one?
Listen, I know zero details about what he was accused for, what he was exonerated of, what there still might be kind of floating in there. But I will say this. I don't think if there's still some questions that he might have acted out of character, I don't think Joe Douglas brings him in. Not even for a workout. No, I don't. All right. On top of it, I don't know. And listen, could he beat out Thomas Morstead? Maybe. Who knows? But we guaranteed Thomas Morstead's contract. It's fully guaranteed. So, if you bring in a veteran punter, fully guaranteed, there's a very good shot that he's going to be your punter, right? That when they paid him, they promised him all the money, every single dime in that contract. They're pretty much saying, hey, you're going to be our punter this year. So, listen, I don't know if there's any character issues because, like I said, I in my heart of hearts tells me that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh aren't bringing this guy in even for a workout if there was character concerns. If there was any true character concerns.
Right. There's some vetting, right? They're going to look. Yeah. They're not even going to kick the tires, as we like to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, that happened 2 days ago and we haven't heard anything. So maybe the workout didn't go good.
Yeah, maybe he sucked. Maybe he was hitting on all the girls. Or something, maybe right away they're like, we got to get this guy out of here. Yeah. So Thomas Morstead got a $1.3 million contract. So not prohibitive if you can upgrade it, but I think that's definitely part of the equation. It's like, that's $1 million, man. Just going to give him $1 million to go home.
Yeah. Especially when you're tight against cap, we only got $7 million to play with right now. Not all of our draft picks are signed either.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do. Although, we still got some guys we can play with. Let's talk about that real quick. Well, I want to get to Radovan super chat here. Thank you, Radovan. He says, just joined. Sorry if you already discussed it. Each of you, gun to your head. Does Becton get a contract extension, tag or not? Long-term feels unlikely. So assuming that he plays this year and does well. I don't know, Dom. What do you think about this one? You think just if you had to crystal ball this one, what do you see? You think Becton, plays well and gets an extension, or do you see it going the other way?
I am probably one of the biggest supporters of Mekhi Becton and everything that he does, and have all the faith in the world in him that he's going to have a great season. Gun to my head, crystal ball in it. I don't think the coach and staff's on board with Mekhi Becton, and definitely with this article that comes out in May, I think that's a little bit of shade, a little bit of posturing that's being thrown, for not giving him the 5th-year option, so on and so forth. That article didn't have to come out now. So I think that Mekhi Becton has probably, unfortunately, I would love to be proved wrong, but I think that he's probably going to be playing elsewhere sooner rather than later.
Interesting. Gunny, what do you see?
Yeah, I'm with Dom on this predominantly in terms of Mekhi Becton. And he could have a Pro Bowl level season this year, and I still don't think we give him a long-term extension. I do believe that the tag is very much in play. I think if we tagged him, it'd be like a $10 million cap hit. But if he comes out and he balls out, you know what I'm saying, and he's a legitimate like starting level tackle, I don't see the Jets just letting him walk away for nothing. I can see that tag being put out there to go ahead and get him under contract, but I do not see in any capacity where they would go long-term with this kid. I think it all boils down to this, right? He's been in the league for 4 years now, right? And he finally decides to take his job seriously. I'm sorry, 3 years now. He finally decides to take his job seriously going into a contract year. And now he's posting all these freaking pictures of him working out. Where was that last year when you showed up freaking almost 400 pounds, right? Like, those things matter. I think when you look at the habitual patterns of an individual, and granted, he could have very well matured and grown over the last year. He had his kid last year. Those things do impact a man. We know this. Those make us see things from a different lens. But though to invest in this guy, knowing that all of a sudden going into a year where your next check depends on your performance, you decide all of a sudden you care now. Now you figured it out. It's too risky. I think at best, he crushes it this season for us, and we tag him. But I don't see a long-term extension being handed out to Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, listen, and like I said, I hope I'm wrong on this one. I absolutely do. Like, there's nothing more I want than him to crush it, which I really think he will, and more so for the Jets to extend him. Because I'd love to put the whole offensive line, offensive tackle thing to rest once and for all.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if a tag is. I mean, the tag next year. I'm not trying to like shoot you down, Gunny, but I just looked it up. $23.8 million for an offensive line for an offensive lineman next year. That's projected.
Oh, I saw 10.5 million when I was looking into it.
No, that's the 5th-year option, I think. The 5th-year option.
Oh, okay. I must have messed that up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, that's a hard pass on that.
Yeah. Well, you know what is in play is a tag and trade. You know what I mean? Something like that. So if Mekhi Becton comes in and balls out and he's one of the, top 10 tackles in the league kind of a thing, and the Jets just don't want him, like Dom said. I mean, I get that vibe too. Look, he could have just kept his mouth shut and pushed reset on his career with how hard he's been working and all that stuff. But he's an immature guy, clearly. I mean, he can't shut up. The interesting thing about Mekhi Becton, and I'm a big supporter of Becton as well, but the interesting thing about him is that he's actually considered quite the jokester. Like, he's a funny guy. He's boisterous. He's ball busting. He's in that pocket, but you can't even use that for this one. I mean, he tweeted after it and said like something along the lines of, there's truth in that article. Like, that's real or some shit. Yeah. So he doubled down. He's like, no, that wasn't just something taken out of context. I meant that. Like, I'm telling you that they are at fault, kind of a thing. Now, like Robert Saleh said, he said, oh, whatever, like I talk to Becton every day. You know what I mean? Like, we're good. It is what it is, and I'd rather look forward than backward. And I really like that. I think that's a perfect response and attitude. But I still think no matter what happens, more than likely, sad to say, I think that Becton, if he plays well, they're going to give value for him. If he doesn't, then he's done. And that's done here. I mean, who knows what his career will hold. He's still 24 years old. But I think that Becton is probably, no matter what, I think he's probably not long for the Jets. And it's a shame because, man, oh, man, does he have potential through the roof, dude. Potential through the roof. And he's the exact type of player that I like. That, like, I will kill you attitude. And, we don't have enough of that. But like Dom said, I crave the offensive line, like having our offensive line. I just crave DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, whoever, Alan Faneca, Nick Mangold, Brandon Moore, Damian Woody. Like, I just want our guys for 3, 4, 5 years. Can we just do that for once, please? And it doesn't seem like that's in the cards because we know Dwayne Brown's more than likely not going to be here more than a year. We don't know what Max Mitchell and Carter Warren's unwritten, and he's developmental rookie in many respects. So it's like, I mean, who knows? Tippmann, it's like we don't know what the hell's going on. Laken Tomlinson more than likely won't be here another year. So like we're going to be pushing reset again next year, and it would be nice to know that Becton is part of it, but doesn't look good. So guys, we'll get to the trivia in just a minute. Watch UK decided to get up exactly when I was going to bring him on. I saw he just shuffled away, just took off. I'm looking at an empty seat. So what else we got going on here? There he is. I know Jay Claus says, dude has played 1 year out of 3. You would hope that like perspective can be gained, like that these guys would have some support in their corner. Like, hey, dude, I hear you. Like, those are emotions. I get it. But let's just look at reality for a second. Like, dude, you've been gone for 2 years. No matter the circumstance, you got to earn your way back. Like, that's the way that it is. But I guess these guys don't want to do that anymore. It's a very, very, for me right now, type of a league, because tomorrow you could lose everything. And that's the same thing you're seeing with Quinnen. It's like, I mean, different, of course, but just in this respect, like, he's holding out for his payday because this might be the one. This might be the only big one he gets. And you got to respect that, dude. He's worked his ass off. He's earned it. Maybe 15 years ago, he signs a lesser deal and kind of gets another one and whatever, but not today. It's too refined of a business on the player. And it's like, no, this is it. We hold out now. We do not play another snap till we get what we're worth. And it just is what it is. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah, listen, I hope he comes out and crushes it. And I hope he earns every bit of the, $15-20 million a year extension that the Jets give him. But crystal balling, I don't see it. I just don't. I wish I was. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong on this one.
Yeah, and let's see, man. I'm excited about Max Mitchell this year. I have to admit, he came in. Remember last year, we talked about he really probably his number one issue was he had to add some strength.
Yep.
And he came back
was missing a lot of functional strength and coming in. That was his knock coming out of small school Louisiana or Louisiana Lafayette.
He needed that year in the NFL strength and conditioning program, and he came back this year and he's ripped. And it's like, okay, all right, like that's what you need. So I mean, guys, grabbing your offensive lineman in the 4th round is not unheard of. And I think Max Mitchell has a real shot to win the starting right tackle job if this Becton bullshit, like if he just says, nope, I'm a left tackle and that's that, and he won't play the right side. And I think Max Mitchell is a good option.
That's an interesting point. Because Saleh has been saying the best 5 are going to play. The best 5 are going to play. Saleh has also very heavily intimated that Dwayne Brown's going to be left tackle.
Yeah.
He said that in just as many words. Or not as many words, I should say. So, if Becton's in the best 5, but Dwayne Brown's left tackle, you assume that Becton's going to play right. Okay. What if that causes more grief than it's worth? Do you consider moving him now? And then you really depending on the guys like, Billy Turner and Max Mitchell and Carter Warren's quick development. I mean, and then we're just right back in this freaking rat wheel again.
I know.
I got a question.
But if he decides I'm not doing that to my right knee,
what if Becton wins the left tackle spot? Would Dwayne Brown, you think, be an issue? Because I've been wondering about that a lot. Like Becton, when we saw him his rookie year, granted, he was on the field sporadically, but when he was on the field, he was dominant. The dude looks amazing. I'm not going to lie. I can't pretend like he doesn't look amazing right now. He does look great. I think we should see that the results of him taking his health and his conditioning seriously on the football field. What if he wins left tackle? Mm-hmm. Does Dwayne Brown become our backup left tackle or swing tackle maybe? Or what do y'all think about that?
Go on.
I was going to say, I mean, I would probably guess that he would be the swing tackle. He'd be the backup. Dwayne Brown's never played a snap of right tackle in his pro career, 15 years. Is that a situation where if he doesn't win it, do they somehow, cut loose or cut ties with him so that he can go sign somewhere else? That I think would be just about as even a proposition as him staying on and being the swing tackle. I don't know.
No, I think they
Good
keep
question.
him, but it's very possible. We've gotten into this debate before where people say his contract is prohibitive. Like they're not going to be putting him in a backup spot with his contract. But don't forget, Becton's making $10 million too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not like, if Becton, let's say we go into the preseason and Becton is clearly the better left tackle. Clearly, Dwayne Brown's fine, but Becton is an animal and he's rolling dudes and he's quick and he's fast and he's aggressive. And he says, I'm not playing right tackle. I'm not doing it. It's left tackle or bust. If he's the best left tackle, you got to play him at left tackle. And then you got Dwayne Brown. I wouldn't let go of Dwayne Brown because fucking Becton, who knows if he'll make it through a game. Truly. So I think having Dwayne Brown as your backup, I don't think he's a swing because, like you said, he can't play right tackle. I'm sure he could, but he never has. Yeah. So, I think he's just the backup left tackle. And then you have, like you said, you have the competition between Max Mitchell and Billy Turner. I think Max Mitchell wins it unless he's clearly not ready to. The good news is he had that starting experience last year, and even with the limitations in strength, he did okay. He did well, man. There was a couple of games where he played exceptionally well. So I think he's a very good candidate, and I liked Max Mitchell coming out too. I mean, he was a good prospect to bring on. But I think there's worse situations than having Dwayne Brown as your backup, even though that might not be the plan. If Becton comes out and he blows the doors off the place, I mean, I think if they're both on their game right now, I think Becton's the better left tackle right now. I mean, honestly, that's what I think. So we'll see.
I can't really disagree. With that outside of the fact that Saleh seems to just, and the entire team seems to just really, really being quietly pushing Dwayne Brown as the left tackle.
Yeah, well, there was also a little clip that came out the other day, little tweet clips of Dwayne Brown walking over to Joe Douglas and giving him the whole handshake hug thing, and they chatted and laughed. So Dwayne Brown's old enough, man. He's Joe Douglas's peer. You know what I mean? So he's got the inside track. He's an old vet Pro Bowl guy, and they love him, and they do. Becton's going to have to do great things in order to usurp him at the left tackle spot. And I think Becton's a better player, but for whatever the reason, I think I agree with Dom. I think it's unlikely that Dwayne Brown isn't the left tackle starter, no matter what we think. I think Becton should choose starting at right tackle over reserve at left tackle, but who knows? I mean, if he's like, no way, dude, I'm not risking my right knee like that again. I guess you can't blame him. I don't know if he really feels that way. Yeah. Who knows? So
Dwayne Brown, just one more thing. Dwayne Brown, if released, would free up $5 million in cap space immediately, but would cost us $6.3 million in dead money next year.
Yeah, so there's a $5 million savings. I was going to mention that before, but yeah, I mean, I think his value as the backup would supersede that $5 million. I mean, unless we absolutely needed it for Quinnen or whatever we got to do, Aaron Rodgers. But anyway, so all right, we'll see how that one plays out. I know Radovan says, we're back to talking about offensive tackle with our first pick next year. I know it's just such a weird thing, but that might be the case. Let's say hello. Watch UK, you ready? Let's bring on our good buddy from New York Sports Wicker Media himself, the president of the Virginia Jets fan club, Mr. Y2K. There he is.
How are you doing, gentlemen?
Jersey. What's up, Adam? How are you, man?
That's right. This is not the usual black jersey. This says I wore it last night with Jeremy. So we got the green lettering as opposed to the white lettering with the green outline. And I like that you get the logo on each sleeve, and it says Jets, not New York. It actually says Jets somewhere other than the helmet. So
yeah, but why are you wearing an Elijah Moore jersey, dude? He was traded.
This was a Browning Nagel jersey.
Excuse you. That makes better sense. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So what is that jersey? It's all different and stuff. What is it?
Yeah, it's just Aaron Rodgers fashion jersey. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing with Rodgers on the back, but you get the actual Jets logo. It says Jets instead of New York, and the color scheme is reversed. So whereas the normal black jersey is a white number with a green outline, this is a green number with a white outline. So I like the white outline. It kind of pops. It kind of pops more. So
it does. I wish the Jets would consider something like that. I think we should change our font for our numbers anyway, but that's a different story. Before we get into the trivia, I do want to close the poll. We asked the chat what the Washington Commanders' new name should be when they ultimately have to change it again. Should they choose, the options were stay with the Commanders if they can, go back to football team, the Red Hawks, or take the opportunity of capturing a piece of their history with the Red Hogs. It was a close one. The Red Hogs won with 33%, followed by 30% for the Red Hawks, and football team got a surprising 28%. I guess that we warmed to that one. It seemed so stupid at first, but I guess we kind of liked it. The Washington football team. The Commanders only got 7% because it's the dumbest name out of all of them. It's just so bad. It really is. So there you go. Thanks for playing. The Red Hogs it is. So if you're listening, Washington, that's what Jets fans think. Wat2K, the trivia rules are as follows. We get 4 minutes to answer your question. Jets related. We are not allowed to use search engines, encyclopedias, or phoning friends. I know Kareem's going to cheat and still get it wrong nonetheless, but we're not supposed to do that. So with that said, let's see if we can get this question right from Wat2K off our own Jets knowledge. You're up.
You know, GreenBean, you like to talk about on your shows, you do the news of the week. Well, we haven't touched on the biggest headline of the day, and that is the Jets signing a new wide receiver named Jerome Cap. Yep, a pretty good
about that guy today.
Yeah, he played college football at Kutztown University in Pennsylvania. Now, everybody might be looking up Google Maps right now saying, where is that?
They're all on search engines right now.
Yeah, it's actually halfway between Reading and Allentown, Pennsylvania. What might surprise you, there have actually been a couple of NFL players that came from Kutztown University. You know, their field, you know who their stadium's actually, this isn't the question, but you know who their stadium's named after? Buffalo Bills great and new Hall of Famer Andre Reed.
Oh, yeah, he went to Kutztown. I didn't know that.
He did. But what you may not know is there has been one New York Jet who played college football at Kutztown University. And I will say this, if you know the Jets history, you know the name. All right. So what Jet played college football at Kutztown University? Your time starts now.
All right, Dylan Terman's in town. He says he lives an hour from Kutztown.
Oh, man.
Hey, Wat2K, can you give us an era?
Yeah, like
I'm going to ignore one particular answer. One guy already knows it. Okay, so it is. How do I say it? Not you have to go back a couple of decades, but it's a name that is still prominent around the Jets and around the Jets. So I give too much away, it's going to get pretty easy. But it's a name that you know.
What era did you say? I'm sorry, I stared right at you.
You got to go back, when the team was sort of coming out of the doldrums and starting to get good against 70s, 80s, somewhere in that 20-year period of time. How about that? But it is a prominent name. It's a name you'll know.
All right. 70s, 80s.
Hank G. Corbett went to Hofstra. Curtis Martin went to Pitt. I'm just going to prove all the chat wrong since I don't got an answer. Wesley Walker, I don't know where he went to college off the top of my head.
It's actually Wesley Walker's birthday tomorrow, as a matter of fact. He turned 68 years old. So
wow.
So if Wesley Walker's like on Twitter, let's send him a happy birthday note. I think we should all say happy birthday tomorrow to Wesley Walker.
All right. So we got Matt Snell.
Matt Snell is incorrect.
Bruce Harper.
It's Bruce Harper.
Wait, Bruce Harper.
Yeah, E-Boogie. Look at that.
A couple of guys
I was going to ask.
Disinfo got it. Yeah, this info got right because Fireman Ed wears that number 42. That's Bruce Harper's jersey. So the name, so it's still very prominent around the team. But if I said it's like, well, he's a returner or his jersey number, you would know it's number 42. So
he's from New Jersey, I believe. Bruce
from
Harper.
Englewood, New Jersey. Yeah, he's Jersey, but still lives in Jersey.
Yeah, I knew he was from New Jersey.
Yeah,
My first apartment was in Englewood, New Jersey.
Wait, wasn't there a wide receiver though from Kutztown?
Andre Rison.
Who it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Andre Reed?
Andre Reed, I'm sorry.
Andre Reed, yeah.
Andre Reed, yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, there was a wide receiver.
Not Andre Bad Moon Rison. Yeah, still the best nickname in the history of sports.
Bad Moon Rising.
Bad Moon Rising.
Well, good stuff, man. So Disinfo actually beat you, E-Boogie. So we'll give you both credit. Disinfo snuck it in there first. E-Boogie came around the mountain with the right answer as well. So congrats. I would not have landed there. I wouldn't have. I know it. I wouldn't have.
The name would have never
came to me.
Yeah.
I don't got that. I don't got that historical mind like Bean does. Like just before when he was rattling off the game play by play 1986, and then that happened. I'm thinking to myself, how the hell does that happen? I don't remember what I ate for breakfast.
If I had said like returner or something, because he was really a returner, a little bit of a running back, I felt that would start to kind of give it away because then you could start to really narrow it down. You know what I mean? But he played for the Jets for, 8 years? I think 77 to 84, 83, 84. So, yeah.
Wow.
Kareem got it right again. Anyway.
Kareem, where is he? He got it, Bean. He said, I got it.
He got it, yeah.
He got
Try
it. Try harder. Yeah, I mean,
there
you're the best.
Was another.
What's that?
No, there was another Kutztown guy. That's not it. Andre Reed. I want to say he was a running back from Kutztown, Pennsylvania. For some reason, it's.
I'll look it up.
Terrence? Was there a Terrence? A Terrence?
No, there's a Terry
Williams.
There's a Terry Williams, but he played for like the Calgary Stampeders. Craig Reynolds is currently in the league. He's the only Kutzman guy who's currently in the NFL. There's a couple running backs, but guys like Doug Dennison, Robert DeRico. I mean,
no, that's not what I'm thinking about.
It's seven guys ever from Kutztown that have made the NFL, and one made it to the Hall of Fame, and another one is Bruce Harper.
Wow. Terry. So you said Terry? Was it Terry Williams? You said?
Yeah, Terry. Where's this guy? Let me see here. I'm on the Pro Football Glossary here. No, I'm actually not. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, it's nobody named Terry. Craig Reynolds is running back who's active.
For some reason, Terry.
Yeah, so he's with Detroit.
J.E. saying he got it. You said Andre Reed. That wasn't the answer to the question.
That was the right answer, wrong question. We'll be nice. Yeah, but it's pretty cool that Reed he was drafted like 4th.
Oh no, he did. No, he did. Here it is. Here it is.
There it is.
J.E. got it. There you go, J.E.
Cool.
There you go. All right, you did it. So J.E. is the winner. You win the nothing. So congratulations. But that's good. No, it's good. Glad you let us know, man. Because we gotta give everybody. If you get the right answer, man, you want to get
technically Bruce or Tony Alexio had it before him, though.
Tony did.
Yeah, I see Bruce Harper. Yeah,
I figured Tony would have just answered Chris Treveler. Oh, okay.
Nah, Tony Alexio before J.E. has Bruce Harper.
Where? I don't see it.
Really?
That's on the 7:36 p.m. mark. He's 1, 2, 3. He's 3 above J.E. Harper.
I see. But is he before Disinfo?
Yeah. J.E.'s before Disinfo.
Disinfo was the first one that I saw. I just waited a little bit, but it was Disinfo from what I could tell.
I don't see it. Right. I don't see Tony. I'll give Tony credit, but
he guessed Strevler. I think his first guess was Strevler.
It's always
Tony.
Strevler.
Tony Alexio had a great comment.
Tony was later. I see it now. He was like later? Third. He was like third in the queue. Yeah, Disinfo was way before everybody. Yeah.
Very well. My apologies.
It's all good.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Well, look. Hopefully we give all you guys the credit you deserve. Right? We don't want to skim past anybody. We want you guys to get your due. But that's gonna do it, man. I am shot. I got to get up in a few hours. So we're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate everybody hanging out early. This is fun. Hopefully, when the schedule gets all settled, by the time we're in training camp or anything, we'll be able to push it back to 8. But everybody, thank you for coming by and hanging out with us. Let's go around the panel. I know Dom's being a little bit reserved before things are official, but Dom, you got anything else you want to let anybody know is coming up?
So, I mean, I still got the Project Prospect podcast going. I have some good podcasts coming. I got some recording done. I just have to do some editing. Just time has gotten away from me. So expect some of those out on the GreenBean channel. I'm also spending some time diving into the positional breakdowns of the Jets and of the Jets compared to the rest of the league. You know, I started with the safeties, and gosh, it looks ugly. The Jets look ugly compared to the rest of the league when it comes to the safety room. But I digress.
Unless Tony Adams is a baller,
which he could be. I love Tony Adams. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I'm going to be, before the season gets started and before I get knee deep in college football, I'm going to be doing a lot of breakdowns on our opponents, how the Jets running backs fare against the Bills linebackers and the Jets wide receivers against the Dolphins defensive backs, and maybe putting together some all 22 film and some videos on that stuff. So more to come.
Right on. Y2K, what do you got cooking?
Well, I'll tell you what. So Jeremy and I we decided last night, we're going to do a little comparison every week on our Wednesday night show, which is usually 10 p.m. on the Jets Chaos Lounge channel. And we'll be doing some comparisons with the Jets and their opponents. So we're planning on Wednesday night doing a little comparison with the Jets and the Bills. And we're planning on doing a different opponent every week for the foreseeable future. So want to have a little series, something to look forward to during, the doldrums of the NFL season. But as for me, I recently crossed the 600 subscriber mark, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah. Right
yep.
on.
So thanks to everybody who has helped me get there, and now onward and upward to 700. So we'll talk Mets, Jets, Rangers, Knicks. I've even snuck in some Islanders, some Yankees, some Giants. Whatever moves me, I'm going to talk about it. So check it out, NY Sports Wikimedia.
There you go. Well, now that Y2K and Dom are going to do the comparison, I'm going to do a comparison video of all our division opponents the same way. I'm going to watch theirs and I'm going to copy it. Do the exact same thing. Gunny, what do you got coming up?
Yeah, you're gonna see an uptick in me dropping videos. Apple finally came out with Final Cut Pro for the iPad, so now I'm able to go ahead and start editing on the go, right? Rather than having to be here in the studio to go ahead and get stuff edited so I can put out to you guys. So a couple of projects that I'm behind on right now are gonna go ahead and get edited as I'm shifting them to the iPad, and I'm gonna start dropping more videos here. I'm this close to 1,000 subscribers, so I'm chasing that milestone still. And it's exciting, man. Right now, there's just so much to be excited about. I keep getting kind of like scatterbrained in terms of what I want to focus on when it comes to the Jets. Good problem to have, but more content dropping with Final Cut Pro finally coming to the iPad.
Final Cut Pro, everybody. You got to love it. Guys, I thank you for being here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it is greatly appreciated. I want to throw a little bone toward our Talking Jets panel channel. We are rocking over there. You can see clips and of the Tuesday show, and we're going to have lots more content coming over there. Everybody, thank you for being here. We do greatly appreciate it. I am so tired, I forget what I'm even talking about. But I look forward to the next time. With that all said, have a great night, everybody. Flight 23 Part 2 is out right now. Go watch that. And we'll talk about that soon. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.